I asked the architect a question about should it all be about the government? Because, for instance, there's a story out there, and it's true. 5 young girls, in the midst of pressure, came out, won an award, an international award for innovation. And guess where they're coming from? It's not a private school they came from. And it's one of those schools in back-end southern part of the country. But they've gone abroad, they've won a competition, an international, yes, hold on, Anambra State. They've gone out there, they've won this award, and it's in the midst of the pressure. Nobody's talking about it. What I'm saying is it possible that the people can get themselves out of the... Does it always have to be about the government? That's a question out there.
Nata, the issue is the volume, right? You know, we can talk about some of the Nigerians that are brilliant, and there are many brilliant Nigerians everywhere. You know, these guys, these ladies, young ladies, they got an award all the way in California for innovation. Nigerians are struggling. As a matter of fact, the truth is that Nigerians are trying harder than most people I know in the rest of the world. But look, you cannot also be telling Nigerians to go and fix themselves and go and sort themselves when people you elect into government are spending money anyhow, when they can't even think. I'm telling you that, listen, we're running a 25 billion budget this year for 180 million people. Angola is running a budget of $56 billion for 25 million people. South Africa is running a budget of $155 billion for 58 million people. We cannot say Nigerians should go and sort them. Look, Nigerians have been sorting themselves out from time immemorial. You know, the global entrepreneurship monitor, GEM, when they came to this country and did their survey, 95% on the average of Nigerians were already entrepreneurs one way or the other. They even saw people, even students who were doing businesses. They saw workers who had a side hustle. But for how long will this continue? If you want us to go down that route, the point would be that we have to also ensure that government, all of these things that these monies they spend in government, you know, all of the budget we're talking about, $25 billion, half of it will disappear in corruption. You know, the remaining quarter of that will be taken by people who are in government. What are we talking about? So the fact is that the government has a first responsibility to take people out of poverty in any which way they can do that, right? Before the second level will be the private sector. What can the private sector do? What can the churches do? What can whoever do? But the first thing is that if you're an absent government, if you don't understand that you need to, first of all, prioritize poverty eradication. The President Xi Jinping of China this year, in his New Year speech this year, that was what he prioritized. And he said, this year, 2019, we are going to ensure we totally eradicate poverty in China. I mean, that's the country that's coming from about 700 million people who were poor about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. India is doing its own. India is taking about 300. Look, is it the private sector that will organize what I just described about India? Bill Gates is a private sector person. He went there and he marveled at what these guys were doing. Look, government doesn't have to spend all the money. Government has to organize the people. You reorganize the people. You put people where they should be. That's what is called administrative capability. Our government, not this one alone, even the ones that have come before, I'm sorry, it's difficult to have respect for them because they have shown total zero administrative capability. That's why we're all over the place. We're saying that our country is dirty. Is it the private sector that will clean your country? No. The government has to do it. He has to use the people. You have to employ the people. In the public sector alone, there's millions of people.
You're very passionate about this stuff. Okay, Architect Etok, now let's see this. Look at this, because NBS is working with the World Bank to work around to do the calculation we're talking about, which will be done in 2019. But they are gathering data now. But hold on. Possible explanations for Nigeria's poverty index. The gap showed up after democracy was overturned by the military and all of that. That's one. Number two, there are more universities in one region of the country than the other. And number two. Number three, the one section of the country tends to spend less on its citizens than the other section. Number four, household sizes in one part of the country continues to increase while the other part is decreasing.
That is like, that's like zoning poverty. But something tells me that in my village, they are very, very poor people. In the north, they are very, very poor people. So poverty has not been zoned. So all those, in one section, they are this, the other section, they are this, the other section, they are that.